the Canary Islands. A Turkish pirate ship came after us. They were famous thieves,
Thieves.
thieves of the sea at the time. There was a long, hard fight, but when it finished, we and the ship were prisoners.
Yes.
The Turkish captain and his men took us to sail in Morocco. They want to sell us as slaves in the market there. But at the end, the Turkish captain decided to keep me for himself and took me home with him. This was a sudden and terrible change in my life. I was now a slave, and this Turkish captain was my master.
Very nice, Agatha. Very nice mesmo, tá? Parabéns. Uma palavrinha ou outra, mas às vezes você mesmo se corrigia, parece que você percebia que estava. Opa, corrigia, gostei de ver, tá? Parabéns, tô vendo que vocês estão praticando mesmo. Galera vai ficar fluente, tá bom demais. Who is the next? Quem é o próximo, galera? Ah, é a Alexa, não é?
Acho que sim.
Let's go. Pode ir, Alexa, isso mesmo.
Before I begin my story, I would like to tell you a little about myself. I was born in the year 1632 in the city of Work in the north of England. My father was German, but he came to live and work in England. Soon after that, he married my mother, who was English. Her family name was Robson. So, when I was born, they called me Robson after her. My father did well in his business, and I went to a good school. He wanted me to get a good job and live a quiet, comfortable life. But I did want that. I wanted adventure and exciting life.
Let's go.
I want to be a sailor and go to sea. I told my mother and father. They were very unhappy about this. Please don't go, my father said. You won't be happy, you know. Sailors have a difficult and dangerous life. And because I loved him and he was unhappy, I tried to forget about the sea. But I couldn't forget, and about a year later, I saw a friend in town. His father had a ship, and my friend said to me, "We're sailing
Yes.
to London tomorrow. Why don't you come with us?" And so, on September 1st, 1651, I went to Hull, and the next day we sailed for London.
Yes.
But a few days later, there was a strong wind. The sea was harsh and dangerous life and dangerous. And the ship went up and down, up and down. I was very ill and very afraid. Oh, I don't want to die, I cried. I want to live. If I live, I go home and never go to sea again. The next day, the wind dropped, and the sea was quiet and beautiful again. Well, Bob, my friend laughed. What do you feel now? The wind wasn't too bad. What? I cried. It was a terrible storm. Oh, that wasn't a storm. My friend answered.
Answered me.
Answered.
Yes.
Just a little wind. Forget it. Come and have a drink. After a few drinks with my friend, I felt better. He forgot about the danger and decided not to go to home.
Yeah.
I did want my friends and family to laugh at me.
Yes.
I stayed in London for some time, but I still wanted to go to sea. So, when the captain of a ship asked me to go with him to Guinea in Africa, I agreed.
Very
And
nice.
so I went to sea for a second time. It was a good ship and everything went well at first. But I was very ill again. Then when we very near the Canary
Canary
Islands, a
Yes.
Turkish pirate ship came after us. They were very famous thieves of the sea at the time. There was a long, hard fight, but when it finished, we and the ship were prisoners. The Turkish captain and his men took us to
Salir in Morocco.
Morocco. They want to sell us as slaves in the market there. But in the end, the Turkish captain decided to keep me for himself and took me home with him. This was a sudden and terrible change in my life.
Very nice.
I was now a slave and this Turkish captain was my master.
Very nice, Duda. How old are you, Duda? Oh, Duda não, Alexa.
Oi?
How old are you? Quantos anos?
Tenho 10.
Wow. Congratulations. Parabéns. Agora é Ellen.
Oi.
Tá
Minha
nervosa
internet
não,
tá-
né?
Minha internet tá bem ruim, mas espero que não fique travando muito. Acho que
Ai,
vai dar.
vamos
Tava
lá.
caindo, mas vai dar certo.
Vai lá, arrasa.
Vamos lá.
Todo mundo lendo junto, hein?
Before I begin my story, I'd like to tell you a little about myself. I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York in the north of England. My father was German, but he came to live and work in England. Soon after that, they married my mother, who was English. Her family name was Robinson. So when I was born, they called me Robinson after her. My father did well in his business and I went to a good school. He wanted me to get a good job and live a quiet, comfortable life. But I didn't want that. I wanted adventure and an exciting life.
Yes.
I want to be a sailor and go to sea. I told my mother and father. They were very unhappy about this. Please don't go, my father said. You won't be happy. You know, sailors have a difficult and dangerous life. And because I loved him and he was unhappy and tried to forget about the sea. But I couldn't forget, and about a year later, I saw a friend in town. His father had a ship, and my friend said to me, "We're sailing to London tomorrow. Why don't you come with us?" And so, on September 1st, 1651, I went to Hull, and the next day we sailed for London.
Yes.
But a few days later, there was a strong wind. The sea was rough and dangerous, and the ship went up and down, up and down. I was very ill and very afraid. "Oh, don't want to die," I cried. "I want to live. If I live, I will go home and never go to sea again." The next day the wind dropped and the sea was quiet and beautiful again. "Well, Bob," my friend laughed. "How do you feel now? The wind wasn't too bad." "What?" I cried. "It was a terrible storm." "Oh, that wasn't a storm," my friend answered. "Just a little wind. Forget it. Come and have a drink."
Yes.
After a few drinks with my friends, I felt better. I forgot about the danger and deciding not to go home.
Yes.
I didn't want my friends and family to laugh at me. I stayed in London for some time, but I still wanted to go to sea. So when the captain of a ship asked me to go with him to Guinea in Africa,
Muito
I
bom.
agreed. And so I went to sea for the second time. It was a good ship and everything went well at first, but I was very ill again. Then, when we were near the Canary Islands, a Turkish pirate ship
Yes.
came after us. They were famous thieves of the sea at that
bom.
time. There was a long, hard fight, but when it finished, we and the ship were prisoners. The Turkish captain and his men took us to Fale in Morocco. They want me to sell us as slaves in the markets there. But in the end, the Turkish captain decided to keep me for himself and took me home with him. This was a sudden and terrible change in my life. I stayed in this Turkish captain was my master.
Uau. Como é que... Não, liga o microfone, Ellen. Já foi saída assim? Caracoles. Muito bem, muito bem. E aí, como é que você se sentiu? Seu avanço foi gigantesco. Como é que você tá?
Eu não sei nem dizer, sério. Essa semana eu dei o sangue, dei tudo, porque até tomando banho eu tava ouvindo. Eu disse, não, tomara que eu não enjoe da voz da teacher, mas não vou enjoar, porque a sua voz é muito linda.
Ah,
Então, não, vamos lá, até no banho, até no trabalho, quando não tinha nenhum cliente na hora, eu fiquei repetindo milhões de vezes. Um dia vai sair, aleluia.
e
Mas
saiu, hein? Caramba! Parabéns, parabéns, parabéns! Meu Deus, que avanço, que progresso! Quanto mais correto a gente pronuncia, mais a gente vai ouvir. Quanto mais a gente ouve, mais fluente a gente fica. Parabéns, viu? Deixa eu ver como é que tá aí o chat. Ai, gente, depois da Ellen era quem? Ninguém se pronuncia. Acho que era Jamile, não é? E aí, Jamile, como é que você tá? Coração tá saindo pela boca, vai desmaiar, como é que tá?
Tô nervosa, mas vou
Perdeu, a
tentar.
pressão caiu, isso aí, vamos lá, sem problema. Aqui é o lugar para errar.
I begin my story, I would like to tell you a little about myself.
Uau.
I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York, in the north of England.
Uau.
My father was German, but he came to live and work in England. Soon after that, he married my mother, who was English. Her family name was Robinson.
Uau.
So when he was born, they called me Robinson after her. My father did well in his business. I want to see good school. I went to get a good job and live a quiet, comfortable life, but I did want to that. I went to adventure and I exciting life. I want to be a sailor and go to sea. I told my mother and father. They were very unhappy about this. Please don't go. My father said, you won't be happy, you know. Sailors have a difficult and dangerous life, and because I love him and they were unhappy, I tried to forget about the sea. But I couldn't forget, and about 3 years later, I saw a friend in the town, his father and a sheep, and my friend said to me, "Let us sail London tomorrow." Why don't you come what us? And so on September 1st, 1651, I went to Hull, and the next day I sailed for London. But a few days later, there was strong wind. The sea was rough and dangerous, and the ship went up and down, up and down. I was very ill and very afraid. Hold on, I don't want to die, I cried. I want to live if alive. We'll go home and never go to sea again. The next day, you want to drop it, and the sea was quiet and beautiful again. Well, Bobby, my friend loud, how do you feel now? The wind wasn't too bad. What I cried was if it was a terrible storm. Well, that wasn't a storm, my friend answered. Just a little wind forget. Come and have a drink. After the few drinks with my friend, I feel better. I forgot about the dangers and decided not go home. I did want my friend and family to love me. I stayed in London for some time, but I still want to go to sea. So when captain of a ship asked me to go with him to Guinea and Africa, I agreed and so went to sea for the second time. I was a good ship and everything went well at first, but I was very again. Then we were near the Canary Island, a Turkish pirate ship come after us. They were famous thieves of that time. There was a long hard fight, but when finished, we and the ship were prisoners. The Turks captain his men took was the sailor in the Moroccos. They went to see a slave in the market there, but in the Turks captain decided to keep me for himself and took me home with me. This was a sad and terrible change in my life. I was now a slave, and this Turk was my master. Excuse me.
Eu não sei nem o que falar. Eu tô chorando real. Meu Deus, gente. Tô chorando de verdade. Jamile, parabéns. Caramba. Gente,
Thank you.
nossa. Nossa, parabéns. Gente, meu Deus, isso foi o quê? Sua quarta aula? Sua terceira aula?
All right.
Ai, gente. Então, quando a teacher diz que eu sonho junto com vocês, a realização desses sonhos é verdade. Nossa, Jamile, eu já estou te imaginando você no hospital, lá nos Estados Unidos, trabalhando, sabe? Estou muito feliz. Muito feliz. Então, gente, parabéns para todo mundo. Para todo mundo mesmo. Meu Deus. Gente, eu não sei nem o que dizer. Gente, eu tenho outra aula, sem condição. E, gente, parabéns. Todos vocês, todos vocês. Isso é, sabe, é a prova de que sim, essa metodologia dá certo. É a prova de que sim, isso vai acontecer, sabe? Então, quando a teacher fala, gente, ouve, repete em voz alta. A teacher estudou muito, gente. Eu sou brincalhona, eu sou palhaça, mas eu estudei sobre o cérebro. Cara, eu fiz mais de 10 cursos sobre isso. Então, quando a teacher dá esses comandos, é porque eu sei que é a forma que o seu cérebro ele vai absorver isso da forma mais rápida. E olha só o que a gente vivenciou isso aqui agora. Gente, eu nem imaginei, Jamile, que você fosse ler, mas você leu e foi assim, uma margem de 90%. Como que uma pessoa começa e em 3 aulas ela acerta 90% da pronúncia de um texto que tem aí, sei lá, 500 palavras, 1000 palavras. Gente, todos vocês estão de parabéns. Meu Deus, eu estou muito feliz. Parabéns a todos vocês. Se eu pudesse, eu ia lá, eu ia aí, entregava um Oscar na mão de cada um de vocês. Vocês merecem muito, tá bom, gente? Nossa. Beber 10 litros de água para me preparar para a próxima aula. Senhor. Gente, então olha só. Finalizamos o primeiro capítulo. O que vocês precisam fazer agora? Segundo capítulo, traduzir, tá bom? Deixa o primeiro capítulo aí, a gente vai ter essa aula gravada para vocês relembrarem, mas a partir já da semana que vem, deixa eu ver, a gente já fez 4 aulas esse mês? Não, 4 aulas essa semana que vem. A partir da próxima aula, semana que vem, a gente já vai começar a trabalhar calmamente, daquele jeito, tá? A pronúncia de tudo. Então, o que vocês precisam fazer? Imprime e vocês vão escrever a tradução em cima das palavras. Tá bom, meus amores? Titio precisa ir. Ai, tem a próxima aula aí. Beijo, meus amores. Fiquem com Deus e parabéns a todos. Ah, Jamile me fez chorar. Lembra disso, tá? Quando você estiver pensando em desistir, quando você estiver cansada, quando você estiver achando que você não pode. Todos vocês vão, vão e vão. Beijos, meus amores. Fiquem com Deus. Bye, bye. Beber água.